there are so many eager people in the church that want to learn how to do Bible studies, who want to share their faith, who want to reach out to other people, and they just don't know where to start. And here I am teaching classes at the missionary training school, showing people how to share their faith. And yet I see that so many of the church members, they don't know how to do that, except for the students that are coming to the classes. And I have had this burden since I've been here in Idaho. How can I get these classes, these trainings to the other people who aren't able to come? And I know that the pastor who set up the Three Angels School of Health, his original intent was for those local church members, they can attend the classes for free, that they can learn how to do evangelism. That way they can train the school students as well as the church members. But the problem is the classes for evangelism are being done in the morning while everybody else is at work. They're not going to be able to leave work and show up to a class. So the results is like 80-90% of the church have never heard a single class that has taken place because they're all at work and they don't even know what's being taught. So I'm thinking, how can we overcome this? So the thought came, well, what about during Wednesday for a prayer meeting, go over these classes and these subjects? And then I'm like, well, no, prayer meeting isn't nearly as attended as the regular church services are, and there's not going to be a high attendance there, and so the people who need to hear it won't actually hear it on Wednesday. So I'm thinking, well, what about Friday? Because the other pastor was doing some Friday meetings, but then I'm like, well, no, even those weren't really highly attended. So I'm just thinking, what about during the divine service? Well, not all of the evangelism training classes would be appropriate for the divine service for the weekend. And some of them would, but not all of them. So I'm just thinking, well, maybe a Sabbath afternoon class, that would be good. No, probably not. That's probably still not the best way because I want to use Sabbath afternoons and evenings for being to encouraging a culture in the church of visitations, meeting people who didn't show up that day, and to be able to go spend time with friends and family and be able to go out in nature and things like that. I don't want to be holding too many meetings on Sabbath and wear out the patience of the saints. So the challenge is, how can I get these classes, these truths, this training for discipleship into the other church members who can't attend the classes during the morning? And the idea came to me as I'm reading through Acts chapter 2. I realized that the people of God, they're worshiping house to house, breaking bread daily. And so what I realize is that house to house that the Bible talks about in the New Testament church, the model of the New Testament church, that was house to house worship. It was a lot of home churches. Even the church of Laodicea, in Colossians chapter 3, I believe it's verse 6, says the church of Laodicea, which is in thine house. So all of these little churches are they're home churches that are taking place. The Christians were being put out of the synagogue, so they couldn't worship openly in the public and in the regular established buildings for worship. 1 Corinthians 3:16 says, "Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?" And so you are the temple. You are the church. The church is the people, not the building. So I started to challenge my mentality. I'm like, well, how about recognizing that the church is where there's two or three gathered in my name? Christ said, there I am in the midst of them. That's the church service. So instead of trying to bring people to a building to come to church, why not bring church to them? And so what I'm going to do is I made this list of evangelism topics that I'm willing to talk to for training the church members. Like, for instance, start here, 7 basic steps for becoming a soul winner, or how to talk to strangers, how to share your testimony, how to redirect unwholesome conversations to spiritual lines, or how to overcome satanic shyness, and different subjects like that, that people are able to say, hey, I want to know how to do that one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the class, instead of teaching it at the building, do it in their home and say, if you can gather a group of people in the church that have about the same schedule as you, that you feel comfortable with, that you want to serve God with, that you want to invite your home and open up to them, I'm willing to be scheduled to go over to your house to do a small group meeting and personally train you and disciple you how to share your faith effectively. And so, what I'm calling them is discipleship training workshops. I'm willing to do a workshop in your house. And that's what I'm opening up for the church. And I'm seeing that the church is getting really excited about that because many church members are not being discipled. So, by being able to share with them and go with them to these different small groups, they're going to learn valuable skills that the other students are learning. And I know Jesus had a faithful regard for the one soul audience, and many times that one soul brought the truth to thousands. So that's going to be my approach at the beginning. Um, I will, like, maybe if I share 5 people at one house, 5 people at another house, 5 people at another house, that's going to be 15 people, and they're going to be able to learn, and then they'll in turn be able to share with 5, 10, 15, and things will grow as we share with that one person. And I recognize that Christ's ministry largely was comprised of personal interviews where people are able to ask questions and answers. And I realize in people's homes, they are far more willing to open up. You can talk about things in people's houses that they would never talk about during a church service because they're just public in nature and there's private questions. People don't want to feel stupid or people don't want to ask the wrong question. And they're a lot more open when they're addressed personally and directly. So that's my goal. Discipleship training workshops, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with the church that's over here. Please keep me in prayer. Let me know in the comment section what you would like to be, what you would like prayer for. Um, Hey Peter, good to see you. Yes, I was the guy Tiger Dan 925 interviewed on Skype. That was quite a while ago. If you have any prayer requests, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to